The first time I saw Emily, she stood at the far end of the court, clutching a brand new tennis racket like it was a sword she didn't yet know how to wield. Her sneakers looked untouched, her ponytail too neat for a real match. "Be honest," she called out across the court, her tone playful but uncertain. "How bad am I going to be?" I grinned. "We'll find out soon enough." I'd been coaching tennis for nearly 10 years at the local community center. Most of my students were kids or retired folks looking to stay active. But Emily, she was different. Late 20s, quiet confidence, and eyes that carried a story I couldn't yet read. She wasn't there to win trophies. I could sense it immediately. She was there for something else, maybe distraction, maybe healing. The first lesson. We started slow, forehands, backhands, footwork drills. She missed more shots than she hit, but she never stopped smiling. When the ball bounced past her for the 10th time, she laughed and said, "Guess I'm not as flexible as I used to be." I chuckled. That's the beauty of it, tennis doesn't care how flexible you are. It just rewards patience. She looked at me, and for a second, her smile faltered, like I'd hit a nerve. Then she swung again, harder this time. A subtle truth. After a few sessions, I started noticing things. She'd stretch before every game, longer than most, and sometimes, halfway through a drill, she'd press a hand to her hip and take a deep breath. "You okay?" I asked once. "Yeah," she said quickly. "Just a little stiff." But her eyes told a different story. Then one afternoon, as we were rallying, she stopped mid-swing, straightened up, and with a grin that tried to hide exhaustion, said, "You know what, coach? I'm more flexible than I look." I laughed. "Prove it." She dropped into a stretch that looked more like yoga than tennis, holding it with impressive grace. But when she stood again, I caught her wincing. Something inside me said, this isn't just about tennis. The storm behind the smile. A few weeks later, it rained, the kind of soft, steady rain that clears the courts but invites conversation. We sat under the pavilion, sipping coffee from paper cups. She stared at the wet court and said quietly, "You ever do something just to feel normal again?" I hesitated. "Sometimes teaching helps me do that." She smiled faintly. "Yeah. That's why I started tennis. After everything." She looked down at her hands, then added, "I had an accident last year. Car crash. Broke my pelvis and both legs. Doctors said I might not walk right again." My throat tightened. "But you did." "I did," she said, almost whispering. "And now I'm trying to do more than just walk right. I'm trying to live right." For the first time, her words filled the quiet between us like a challenge to fate itself. The turning point. From that day on, I changed my approach. I stopped treating her like a student chasing perfect swings. And started treating her like a person rebuilding something invisible. Every small step became a victory. Every rally, a reminder that she was still moving forward. When she'd miss a shot, I didn't correct her form, I reminded her of her progress. "You didn't fall this time," I'd joke. She'd roll her eyes and say, "Not yet." But the truth was, she was getting stronger. Faster. More confident. The match that mattered. 3 months later, the community center hosted its annual, friendly doubles tournament. Nothing fancy, just locals playing for fun. Emily signed up without telling me. I only found out when I saw her name on the list. When I confronted her, she grinned. "What? You said I was ready." "I said you were improving," I corrected. "Same thing," she said with a wink. The morning of the tournament, I could tell she was nervous. Her hands shook as she tied her shoelaces. As the games began, I stood courtside, heart pounding like I was the one competing. And when her first serve went over the net clean, the crowd clapped. By the third round, she was smiling again, the kind of smile that comes from reclaiming something the world once said you couldn't have. Then, halfway through her semi-final match, she dove for a ball, really dove, and landed hard on her side. The crowd gasped. I ran to her. Emily, don't move. But before I could finish, she sat up, laughing breathlessly. See, she said, brushing dirt from her elbow. Told you, I'm more flexible than I look. The crowd erupted in applause. And in that moment, it hit me. This wasn't just about her body healing. It was about her spirit refusing to quit. A lesson in courage. After the tournament, she didn't win any medals, but she won something better. Confidence. Freedom. A piece of herself she thought she'd lost forever. As we packed up, she looked at the empty court and said, "You know, when I first came here, I just wanted to prove I could move again." "And now?" I asked. She smiled softly. "Now I just want to keep moving, in every way that matters." The epilogue. Months later, I got a message from her. Guess what? I'm teaching tennis now, to a few kids from rehab. I tell them what you told me, patience pays off. I sat there for a long time, reading her message over and over, realizing how sometimes kindness circles back, not in grand gestures, but in ripples of quiet inspiration. Because what started as a simple tennis lesson had turned into something far deeper. A reminder that healing isn't about getting back to who you were. It's about becoming someone stronger than you ever imagined. In the end, Emily taught me something too. Sometimes, the bravest thing a person can do isn't to fight harder. It's to show up again after life knocks them down, and whisper with a smile. I'm more flexible than I look. Tennis, no matter what life takes from you, strength, time, or confidence, you can rebuild it. Slowly. Patiently. And beautifully.